But one thing I will say, you can still be maddening when you want to. And childish.
Well, because Lucy's happiness is important to me. That's being childish.
That's not what I meant. She's my daughter too, you know.
Exactly. And all I'm asking is that you should start behaving as a father.
Look, I've told you, there's no need for Lucy to go to a school friend. If you're going out, I can pick her up at school and take her out to tea.
You didn't say anything about that when we made the arrangement for today.
And you didn't say anything about going to this meeting.
Well, how could I? It was only arranged last night. It is an emergency meeting.
And what is it this time?
Committee of the MCRI.
The what?
The Midland Congress for Racial Integration.
Oh, one of those.
There's no need to sneer.
I wasn't sneering.
It's that same cheap sneering tone you always use. That same typical crypto-fascist police attitude to the underprivileged.
Helen, for goodness sake, let's not start all that again.
Well, you better ring on Friday if you want to see Lucy at the weekend.
Well, we haven't fixed up about today yet. Look, I'll meet her out of school. What time does she come out?
I wish you'd listen sometimes. I told her she's going to have tea with a friend.
Well, scrub it.
No, she'd be too disappointed.
Well, disappointed to see her father.
To miss going to have tea with Nala.
And who's Nala?
Her school friend, Nala Chaudhry. She's Indian.
Indian?
Any objections?
No.
You surprise me.
Why the hell do you have to make a political issue out of everything?
Because everything is. Now, where's the famous present? I've got to get back to the library. What is it?
It's called a junior vanity case.
For a 7-year-old? I see. Well, I'll give it to her. Oh, and don't bother to ring on Friday unless you're in a more reasonable frame of mind.
Damn and blast that woman. Sorry.
That's quite all right. Your wife?
Ex-wife. Ex is of the essence. Well, Lucy wanted a bloody vanity case. She's fed up with these nice, worthy educational toys. What's the point of arguing with a woman who knows she's always right? Here.
Don't we all?
What?
Think we're right.
I said no, not think. Look, she can upset everyone else's plans at the last minute because she knows she's right to do it. Because she knows it's more important to attend some blasted committee.
Perhaps it is.
Don't tell me you're another one.
Another what?
Well, another of those women who think that every problem can be solved by forming a committee. Another of those priggish, pseudo-intellectual, lib-lab busybodies.
No, I wouldn't think I was that.
Well, Helen is.
What are you?
Politically? Neutral. What else can I be in this job?
Why should you care about what she thinks?
I don't. She can think what she likes, she can do what she likes. What kind of a person is she going to turn Lucy into? Oh, hell. I'm going out.
Uncle Lars in the storeroom. Shall we surprise him? Yes, let's.
Don't stall, Chaudhry. Just give me the cash.
No, it's blackmail. I won't pay another penny.
Blackmail nothing. It's a straight business deal. What do you kids think you're playing at? Get the hell out.
Do not speak to them like that. Hello, Lucy.
Hello.
Have you come to tea? Yes. Oh, good, good. Take her along now and join your mother. I'll be with you soon. I'm busy now.
All right, Uncle Lars.
Nana? What were you doing in there?
We wanted to surprise Uncle Lars.
You should not go in when he's busy.
We didn't know. Mum, that man in there, Isn't he the one who promised to bring Auntie and all the cousins to England?
What do you know about that?
I remember, a long time ago.
Oh,
soon
never mind about that now. Come along, both of you. Tea is ready.
Mrs. Chowdhury,
Yes, dear.
what is blackmail?
Oh, it's a nasty, wicked thing, Lucy. We don't talk about it. Now, come along, both of you. Tell me, what were you doing at school today?
I did a painting. So did
Oh, oh, there.
You can tell your employer that we made a bargain.
Dead right, you did.
And I pay no more until he fulfills his side of it.
You're pushing too hard. Give him time.
He's had time, over a year. And money. Every month, more money.
Things aren't easy like they were. A job like this, costs are rising all the time.
But we agreed a price.
And you agreed to pay overcharge for unforeseen expenses.
Not on this scale.
Look! I'm not here to argue the toss. I'm here to collect. You want time to pay? Okay. You got 24 hours.
Oh, it's impossible. I can't go on paying and paying and paying for nothing.
I'll be back. Just have it ready for me. That's all. Well, beautiful, you're new, aren't you?
Can I help you, sir?
Not right now. Maybe after you close.
Oh, you can't go in there.
Oh, relax, doll. I'm in the business too. An associate of Mr. Cross.
Oh. Well, if you care to wait a minute, I'll see if he's free. What name shall I...
He's free.
I asked you to wait. Look, I'm sorry, Mr. Cross. I tried to stop him.
That's all right, Susie. The devil are you playing at, Eddie, and barging in like this?
I've got something to tell you.
I dare say, but you could have waited till the girl went through the motions, couldn't you?
What's the point?
If you can't see it, you're even dumber than I thought. I don't want her to start asking questions.
She won't.
Even get an inkling there might be questions to ask. Don't do it again.
Okay, sorry.
Now, what is it you have to tell me?
It's Chowdhury. You may have to lay off him for a bit.
Why?
He's wriggling.
Not surprised.
Says he won't pay.
You pay.
Used a nasty word.
What?
Blackmail.
You didn't threaten him.
No.
What did you do?
Give him 24 hours.
Right. Leave it at that.
And if he still won't pay?
He'll pay. I'll expect you tomorrow with the cash. Oh, and if the girl asks you to wait, you wait.
Did you find it, Lucy?
Yes.
Well, hurry up then, darling, or you'll be late for school. I'll be late for work.
Mummy,
Yes, darling.
what's blackmail?
What a funny question.
Mrs. Chowdhury said it's wicked.
Well, it is.
What is it, Mummy?
Now, let me see how I can explain it to you best. Supposing you'd been very, very naughty at school and you were afraid of what the teacher might do if she found out. And supposing another little girl knew you'd been naughty and she came to you and she said, "I'll tell teacher what you did unless you give me all your pocket money." Well, that would be blackmail.
That's horrid.
Yes, it is. It's one of the horridest crimes there is. If a grown-up does it and the police catch him, he'd get sent to prison for a long time.
Then we ought to ask Daddy to catch that man and send him to prison.
Which man?
You know, the one who's doing blackmail to Nala's uncle.
Morning.
Good morning.
Anything crop up while I was away yesterday?
Nothing urgent.
Oh, what's this then?
Oh, it's from the Board of Trade, the OP bankruptcy, statement of affairs.
Oh. Have you looked at it?
No, not yet. Do you want me to?
No, I'll go through it first. Vicky,
Yes?
I owe you an apology for yesterday.
No.
I don't often blow my top.
So you ought to more often. Are you good?
Maybe, but I'd no right to involve you.
I am supposed to be your assistant.
Yes, but not in private life.
Oh, always happy to put in a bit of overtime,
Unpaid overtime?
if it helps to have a safety valve.
Yes, it did, thanks. But I won't do it again.
Pity.
In that case, perhaps I should be paid for the overtime.
What?
In the form of that lesson.
What lesson?
Gastronomic appreciation.
Gourmet week at the Cornwall. And I was going to take it.
Well, you did suggest it when it was first announced.
And I've never even mentioned it since.
You've had other things on your mind.
And what's on this evening?
A classic French meal of the 90s. The chef from the Voltaire in Paris is in charge. 12 courses.
Is that all?
Sit down at 7 and get up at 10, if you can.
Right, it's a date. If you promise to eat them all.
I would too. It's too late now. Not a hope of getting a table.
You underrate me, young Hicks. Put a call through to the Cornwall. I'll speak to the restaurant manager. Oh, go on.
Mrs. Chowdhury? Oh, it's Helen Gamble here, Lucy's mother. Is your brother-in-law there?
Oh, no, I am sorry. He has just gone out.
Oh, well, perhaps you could pass on a message for me.
Yes, of course.
I know it's very short notice, but I wonder if you'd like to come over this evening and have a meal.
Oh, yes, I am sure he would be very pleased to.
And you too, of course, if you'd like to.
Oh, no. Thank you very much, Mrs. Gamble. It's most kind of you to ask me, but I go out very little, you know. It's so difficult to find a babysitter at short notice.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll try and give you plenty of notice next time. You've been so kind to Lucy. But I do hope your brother-in-law can make it, and there's someone I'd like him to meet. Someone who may be able to help him.
Help him?
Will be of use to him.
Oh, very well. I will give him your message as soon as he gets back. Thank you very much, Mrs. Gamble. Goodbye.
Come in, Mr. Chaudhry. How very pleasant to see you again.
It's very good of you to see me at such short notice, Mr.
One can always find time for a valued client, and may I say friend.
I hope so.
Please come and sit down. Tell me what I can do for you.
Thank you. Mr. Crack, I need advice.
People who visit me do.
No, I'm in trouble, very serious trouble.
A police matter?
No. Mr. Crack, anything I tell you will be treated as confidential.
Naturally. As my client and as my friend, you may speak with complete freedom.
Yes, well, you know what it is like for us now in Kenya.
I have never visited the country myself and never wish
thank
to.
you.
But yes, I know what it is like for Indian immigrants.
And you know what it would be like for me if I had to go back.
Go back? Out of the question. How would you live? Impossible.
I only wish it were. But if the authorities were to find out that I was an illegal immigrant...
Illegal?
I'm sorry, Helen, not this evening. I just can't make it.
Is it a job?
No, it's a social engagement.
Well, couldn't you put it off?
Well, I suppose I could if it was something really important, but...
This is important, especially to Lucy.
Well, how does she come into it? I thought you said it was some man you knew who was in trouble.
Yes, but Lucy knows him too. You see, he's the uncle of her best friend at school.
Oh, the Indian. And I'm not sneering.
No, I know. I'm sorry about yesterday.
Oh, that's all right. Forget it.
The point is, Lucy's devoted to Mr. Chowdhury, and she's terribly upset about the whole business. It was her idea to ask you to help.
Well, the child knows about this trouble, whatever it is.
Yes, it was she who found out about it when she was there for tea yesterday.
Well, what sort of trouble is it?
Look, I can't explain now. I'm in the library, but it's a nasty business.
Well, what do you think I can do to help?
Talk to him. Tell him what to do. Advise him anyway. Please, John, it is important. Try to make it for this evening.
Well...
Lucy's counting on you.
All right. I'll meet her after school, then I can see something of her first.
Yes, do that. Thank you, John, and bless you.
Mind you, I'm not promising anything until I know what it's all about, right? See you then.
No biscuits if we're going to eat 12 courses this evening.
Thanks. Hicks. Vicky, do you think you could find somebody else to go with? On me, of course.
No, I couldn't. Why?
That was Helen.
I see.
No, you don't. It's a friend of Lucy's. Her uncle's in some kind of trouble and...
There's no need to explain.
Mr. Chaudhry, my friend, you have been foolish.
don't I know it? Now it's too late.
When that misguided British government gave independence to India by creating Pakistan, I saw the writing on the wall. I was in Calcutta at the time. I packed my bags. I converted my assets into movables, a few precious stones, just as you did, and I came to England. A horrible climate, but a fair country to work in. I've never regretted it.
Why do you tell me this, Mr. Clark?
I'm sorry, my friend. Am I rubbing salt in the wound? But did you not also foresee the problems of Kenya's independence?
Well, of course, but how could I foresee that another British government would impose an immigration quota on British citizens?
Morally unjustifiable, but expedient presumably from the British point of view. However, be that as it may, what's done is done. Now you come to me for advice. Somebody knows you came here without a voucher. This somebody is blackmailing you. How are you to deal with it? This is the problem, yes?
Yes.
Then there is only one advice I can give you, both as my friend and as my client.
Yes.
Tell your story to the police.
No, they will deport me, send me back.
Not the police. The immigration authorities, yes.
Then I can't do it.
But what is the alternative? Much as I loathe and despise a blackmailer, what is the alternative?
Pay up. But how can I? Already I've had to cut down on the money I'm sending to my wife and children. At this rate, I'll be bankrupt in 6 months.
It is a sorry predicament, but it is the way of the world. If you're born of the right parents at the right time in the right place, you're one of the chosen. If not...
If not, you must choose between bankruptcy here and destitution there. Or the ultimate peace of death.
Gyseghem, how's my loose?
I had a cold, but it's gone.
Good.
This is my friend Nala.
Hello, Nana.
How do you do? She's coming to tea with us.
Is she?
Some days I go to tea with Nala, and some days she comes to tea with me.
Fine. I thought we might put in a bit of time at the fairground first. Okay?
Oh, lovely.
Great. Hop in.
We had a lovely time at the fair, didn't we? Yes, it was very fun. Nice. Did you like the roundabout? Yes, very nice.
If you two have finished, run along and play in the garden. I want to talk to Daddy.
Can we take my doll's pan?
Yes, darling, I think it's in the shed.
Come on, Lucy. Do we go to your doll's house? Come on, Lucy.
I like Lucy's friend.
She's a sweet child.
How long has she been over here?
Oh, since she was a baby. Her parents came over from Kenya in 1960. Of course, in those days, it was still a colony, and there were no problems about citizenship or immigration.
Quite. What does her father do?
He's dead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was a car accident a couple of years ago. His wife was injured at the same time.
Oh, how awful.
Yes. Then about a year ago, her brother-in-law turned up from Kenya to take over running the business. It's a shop for men's outfitters.
And he's the one who's in trouble?
He's being blackmailed.
Blackmail? But you've come to the wrong man, Helen. That's not my
Now,
department.
look, I'm not asking you to do anything officially. Just tell him what to do. He'll take it from you when he knows who you are.
Well, what am I supposed to tell him?
That the police will lean over backwards to protect the victim as long as they can get the blackmailer.
Ah, but that's not strictly true. It depends what he's being blackmailed for.
He hasn't done anything. He's not a criminal. He's simply an illegal immigrant, that's all.
He told you this?
Well, of course not, but it's obvious.
How?
Now, when he first arrived here, he was a cheerful, happy man who talked a great deal about his wife and family joining him, as if they were going to turn up any day. Gradually, all that's changed. He's become more and more depressed. He never even talks about his family now.
Well, there could be other reasons.
What other reasons? If he'd come here legally on a voucher, he'd had no difficulty bringing his family. But if he'd come in by the back door, then they'd have to come the same way. If somebody found out...
What do you want?
As if you didn't know.
I have not got it.
That's stupid, Chowdhury. Dead stupid.
I'm sorry, Helen, I just don't like it.
Why not? Because he's an Indian?
It wouldn't make any difference if he was a bug-eyed monster from Mars. I'm still a policeman.
24 hours a day? If you're looking for a drink, you know where it is. No one's been near it since you were last here.
Helen, look, I'm not blaming you for asking me, but I assure you, you're making a big mistake.
How?
Well, trying to interfere.
Interfere? Would you call it that if the man was one of your drinking friends from your club?
Yes. Yes, unless he'd asked for help and knew what he was asking. Your Mr. Chowdhury hasn't.
Oh, how could he? A man of his race, in his position. Use your imagination. Or is it atrophied after all these years of being a copper?
Oh, Helen, let's not start another slanging match.
Have you any idea what's happened to the Kenya Indians?
Yes, I read the papers. They're in one hell of a spot. Kenyatta doesn't want them there. We don't want them here. Look, believe me, I'm sorry for your Mr. Chowdhury, but...
not enough to do anything about it. Not even for Lucy's sake.
Oh, for God's sake, don't keep dragging Lucy into it.
She's in it already. And she's counting on you.
Yes, and that's another piece of blackmail.
Oh, don't be melodramatic.
Look, hasn't it ever occurred to you that you might just be wrong about Mr. Chowdhury?
I'm not.
Everything you've told me so far is guesswork. What if he's being blackmailed for something quite different?
He's not.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Helen. You're not God. You can't know.
Look, I can't prove it, but I'm sure. You talk to him and you'll see.
Look, if I did, and I found out that he was mixed up in some serious crime which couldn't be overlooked...
Then presumably he wouldn't tell you.
Look, one doesn't always have to be told. Now, if I do talk to him and I do uncover something nasty, I warn you, Helen, I just can't forget it. You're Mr. Chowdhury and anyone else involved will have to take the consequences.
So you didn't make it to the bank? I don't want to push you, Chowdhury. Just get there in the morning, okay? I'll be round again about noon. Right then. See you.
So you are here.
Unpaid overtime. The OP case.
You're a very good girl. A very, very, very good girl.
Party time?
Oh, you mean the drink? No, I popped into the club for a couple, but somehow I just couldn't face it tonight. I rang your digs. They told me you hadn't come in yet.
Somehow I couldn't face the baked beans, and it was a bit late to whistle up a boyfriend.
All right, don't rub it in. I know. The 12 courses. We'll come and have a drink instead.
Why not? Did you sort out the gentleman's problems?
He didn't turn up, did he? After all that Barney with Helen. Just a telephone call to say he couldn't come.
So you left?
Well, sure I left. Just as soon as Lucy went to bed.
Mrs. Gamble, I'd have come sooner, only I had to get someone to sit with Lucy. What happened?
What do you mean?
Well, I could tell by your voice on the telephone that something's happened. And you've been crying.
Oh, Mrs. Gamble. Most
Well, everyone's got one somewhere.
Out of what?
An Achilles tendon.
I don't follow.
Well, it's perfectly simple. Everyone's got... Did I say tendon? No, I didn't mean that. I meant I mean the other thing, you know, what is it? Right, it's a heel, that's it. The heel of Achilles, that's what everyone's got.
Think so?
Well, I'm pretty sure. Take me, for instance. Helen is my heel.
I see what you mean.
You never married, did you?
Give me a chance.
Chance? What do you mean? Oh, I'm sorry. But it'll crop up, you know. It always does.
So they say.
And when it does, think twice. No, better still, think thrice. Think thrice, Hicks.
I will.
I didn't.
No.
No, I didn't think at all. Not even once. Helen and I, you know, we were like that. Well, physically. You know what I mean?
I know.
The only trouble is, sooner or later, you've got to get out of bed.
So they tell me.
No, but it wasn't her fault he went sour.
What?
Yeah. No, it was mine. I was older, I had more experience. I should never have started it, never. It was a classic case of incompatibility. There was she, just down from university, all ready to set the world to rights, full of burning left-wing new stagger ideals. And I had to walk into her life. Me, a copper, a fascist hyena, a bourgeois lackey, a Cossack.
Oh, shut up.
Huh?
Look, thousands of people make bad marriages, and thousands of people get divorced without making a perpetual drama over it. Or perhaps you really want her back.
No. No. Never. I've done it again, haven't I? And I swore I wouldn't. I'm sorry, Hicks.
I asked for it. Gamble.
Whoever it is at this time of the night, I'm not here.
Hello? Who is it?
Helen.
I'm sorry, no. Have you tried his club? And his flat? Well, I can't help you. Do you want to leave a message? As soon as I see him, yes. Goodbye.
And what now?
Just to tell you that Mr. Chowdhury tried to kill himself this evening.
Don't let me hold you up, Mr. Chowdhury, if you have work to do.
Oh, thank you.
And, you do feel up to talking?
Certainly, yes. Good night's sleep.
You understand, of course, I'm here quite unofficially.
Oh, indeed, yes. Mrs. Gamble explained. You are very good. I will tell you everything.
Just a minute. If you've done anything apart from illegal entry, don't tell me. Not until you've consulted your lawyer, anyway.
Oh, no, there was nothing else. And I have already seen my lawyer. Excuse me.
Yes. And what did he say?
He said that I should go to the police.
Yes, very good advice.
I was afraid.
Yes, I understand. But what you did is not strictly a police matter. It's only the Home Office Immigration Department who'd be really interested.
Yes, but if I had to go into court and tell my story, they would find out.
Not necessarily. In a case like this, the CID would be primarily concerned with convicting your blackmailer. Your name needn't be mentioned. You could give evidence as Mr. X.
Oh, is this normal?
Yes, in offences of this nature. Of course, I can't give a 100% guarantee, because it'll depend on the bench as well as the police. But I'm 99% sure.
Oh, if only I had known of this before. But, Mr. Gamble, or should I call you Inspector?
Mister.
I must tell you that since your wife, since Mrs. Gamble spoke to me, I have been giving thought as to what I should say. I mean to make it all clear and truthful.
Yes?
And I must tell you that I cannot swear to blackmail. No one has ever issued any open threat.
Then what have you been paying for?
For my wife and family to be brought to England in the same way as I was.
And how was that done?
There were many of us in Nairobi who were desperate to get away, but who failed to obtain vouchers. Please sit down.
No, thanks.
I was approached by a man who called himself a travel agent.
An Englishman?
Yes. He made a proposition to me. For £1,000, he would supply air ticket, passport, and immigrant's work voucher.
Forged?
No, I think not. I believe they were borrowed or hired from immigrants already here. At any rate, I traveled under a false name.
The photograph?
Oh, yes, that was forgery, I suppose. They substituted mine for the duration of the journey.
And you had no trouble?
Not at first. The trouble came later. I paid another £2,000, and my wife and children were supposed to follow me in 2 months. Instead, the pressure began. Things were getting more difficult. Costs were rising. If I wanted my family, I must pay more. Every month, another £200. At first, I believed, but after 6 months, I knew that they would go on squeezing me until I was dry. I'd never bring my family.
Who does this squeezing? Was it the same man as in Nairobi?
No, but he works for the same people. Works? What does he have to do except collect? He doesn't even have to threaten.
Yes. Well, they certainly had you over a barrel. But not to worry. This is for my department. It's not blackmail, it's fraud.
How so?
Well, you've paid for a service that they've failed to provide, which they have no intention of providing. Now, next time this messenger calls, this collector, tell him the agreement is void and demand all your money back. Oh, look, if they fail to pay up, then I'll take over. And if they do threaten to turn you in, then it will be blackmail, and the CID will handle it.
If they really do turn me in to the immigration authorities...
And risk putting themselves in the dock on a conspiracy charge? I presume you're not the only one.
Oh, no, there were 20 others on the flight with me. All men with some capital, and all with their families to follow. And that was only one flight. These people must have organized more. 4 or 5 at least.
That's 100 people paying $200 a month.
And even if they all can't afford that much, I mean, supposing there's only 80 paying £100 a month. That's nearly £100,000 a year.
Nice pickings for them. Does Mr. Chowdhury know who they are?
No, except for the messenger boy who collects. Hang on, I've got a description. There we are. Look, he's due at the shop again at midday now. Get over there, see what he looks like, and find out who he reports back to, if you can.
Right.
Oh, and, Vicky.
Yes?
I don't want to start each day with apologies, but about last night.
It didn't happen.
Good morning, Mr. Chowdhury.
Mr. Karaka, this is a very pleasant surprise.
I was passing this way. Is there somewhere we can talk privately? I've been considering your problem.
Oh, no, there's no problem now.
No problem?
No, you gave me good advice.
You're going to the police?
No need. They came to me. But it was very kind of you to call.
I tell you, we've pushed him too far. If he don't get his money back, he says he's going to turn me in for fraud.
I heard you.
It's that ruddy wog lawyer put him up to it.
What?
Oh, Indian then. He was there before me.
All right, Eddie.
What do you mean, all right? All right for you. But if Chowdhury goes to the cops, I'm the one he knows.
He won't.
You didn't hear the way he was talking.
Stop flapping, Eddie. It's all in hand.
In hand? How can it be?
You still living with the same girl?
Carol? Yeah.
Tell her to meet me at Max in an hour's time. I've got a job for her.
What job?
Don't stall, Eddie. Just go and get her.
This is the man, Eddie Bone.
Yeah. 5 convictions. All for petty crime.
Yes, he looks the type. When he left Chowdhury's, he went straight to a small travel agency called 5 Oceans.
Yes, that fits.
I'm having it checked.
And after that?
Sorry, I lost him. He jumped on a moving bus. Do you want him picked up?
No, we must give them time.
What for?
I'm not interested in illegal immigration. I want to get this lot on a conspiracy to obtain by false pretenses. Now, Chowdhury has issued his ultimatum. Now, we must give them time to do what they undertook or pay the money back.
Or react in some other way?
Miss Chowdhury?
Yes? Is this the car my uncle sent?
That's it.
Jump in, Lucy.
Wait a minute. My orders are to pick up you, no one else.
But Lucy and I always go home together.
Sorry, I have my orders. Just you.
But Uncle Lyle won't mind. Look, there's Miss Perry. We'll ask her.
All right, hop in, both of you. Quick.
Hicks,
Yes?
I have something to say to you, and I hardly dare.
You hardly dare.
You don't happen, by any chance, to have a date for this evening, do you?
No. Friday night's for the hare and the tin of beans.
Gourmet week's still on.
Yes, I know. A Viennese banquet, period 1912.
Oh, with a chef from Sacker's.
The hare can wait. But I have to change.
All right, go on, I'll pick you up. Hello, Gamble speaking.
It was Mr. Chaudhry here.
Yes, Mr. Chandra?
Everything I told you this morning, you must forget it.
Forget it? Why? What's happened?
There was no illegal immigration, no blackmail, no fraud.
You know that isn't true.
This morning our talk, it was private, unofficial. You promised.
At first, yes, but then you agreed to take action. Look, things have gone too far now.
No, you must stop them. I shall deny it all.
Looks as though you were right. They have reacted in some other way.
How?
I don't know, but he seems scared stiff. They've got him over that barrel again somehow.
Then we'd better forget the Imperial Tokai.
Gamble speaking. Oh, hello, Helen. I'm glad you called. Now, look, you're Mr. Chowdhury's behaving... What? Well, have you reported it? Yes, of course. I'll get things moving from this end immediately. Yes, bye. They've got the children, Nala Chowdhury and Lucy.
Yes, I'm sorry about the other girl, but I had to choose between taking both or neither. There are a lot of children about, and then one of the mistresses appeared. But there's no great harm done. In fact, it'll make life easier for the girl Carol if the Chowdhury trial has a friend with her. No trouble this end. I'm absolutely sure it'll work. When I spoke to Chowdhury, he's ready to accept him.
What the hell do you think you're playing
Quiet. No, any idea. Right, I'll keep in touch.
Do you know who that second kid was?
I've no idea.
Our father's a cop.
What?
Only an inspector in the fraud squad, that's all.
I do know.
It was on the news. Look, I'm getting out. I don't want any part of this.
You haven't got any part of it. I picked them up, didn't I?
What about my bird? What about Carol right there with them?
The kid's going to bite her. Go and hold her hands. Don't be a fool, Eddie. No one knows where they are. When all this is over, you and your girl can blow if you want to. Until then, stop flatting. Now, come on. I'm shutting up shop.
Where is he?
With Mrs. Chowdhury.
Well, call him, please. I want to speak to him.
John, call them off.
Who?
The police.
Are you mad?
Look, when I rang you before, I hadn't spoken to Lal Chowdhury.
So?
The point is the children won't be hurt, as long as your police don't go blundering in.
They're not my police, and they won't go blundering in anywhere as long as there's any risk.
Say that because you're one of them. There's always a risk as long as the hunt's on. They'll be released when Chowdhury does what they want. Until then, leave it alone.
Oh, look, I couldn't even if I wanted to. It's not even my department. 2 little girls missing, believed kidnapped.
Known to be kidnapped.
All right, but I can't just go marching into the Chief Constable's office and tell him to ignore it.
Can't you? No, I suppose you're very small fry, really.
Thanks.
But at least you can let it be known that you're dropping the fraud investigation. That's what they're after.
Oh? And how do you know?
Well, isn't it obvious? Why else would they take Lucy except to put pressure on you? Drop the case, John.
I'm sorry, I can't.
So playing cops and robbers means more to you than your own child's life.
Look, as far as I know, nobody has threatened her life. These people are cheaters, blackmailers, and exploiters, but they're not killers.
How do you know? If they'll go as far as kidnapping little children...
Well, you should have thought of that risk before. Look, it wasn't me who got Lucy into this.
It was your advice to Chowdhury which drove them to it.
And who blackmailed me into getting involved? Who told me it was for Lucy's sake? Who wouldn't listen to my advice? Look, I told you that once this started, there was no telling where it would lead to. I told you that once I got into it, I mightn't be able to pull out.
You could pull out if you wanted to.
Look, this isn't just a case of one wretched immigrant being exploited. This is a full-scale exploitation racket, and it's got to be stopped.
Even at the cost of never seeing Lucy again. My God, you're inhuman.
Look, I feel exactly the same way as you do about it. But this isn't just a personal issue. Now, if the police let one bunch of crooks get away with this, then it'll open up, and it'll have no end to it. Our job will become impossible.
Your job?
Yes, our job. Protecting society. And don't you sneer this time. When it comes to making speeches about the underprivileged, I'll leave that to you. But when there's something practical to be done and...
Mr. Gamble, why are you here?
To see you. They've been in touch with you,
Now,
haven't
don't listen to him. He can't make you.
they? Look, we can't talk here. Come along to my office.
You've no right to take him unless you charge him.
I could do that. He entered this country under a false name with forged documents.
You bastard.
Mr. Chatley, I know how you're feeling, and despite what Helen says, I feel the same, and I give you my word, I won't do anything, and the police won't do anything, to put the children in any more danger than they are already.
Don't listen to him.
But it won't do them any good, or you, or anybody, if we just sit back and do nothing. Now, I'll tell you something that they're not aware of. I know who one of them is.
You do?
Oh, my God.
Yes, the man who does the collecting. And I also know where they operate from. And it's just a matter of time before I get onto the others, with or without your help. Now, the question is, do you cooperate, or do I have to take you in?
What do you want to know?
How did they contact you?
By telephone?
Was it Eddie Bone, the man you know?
No, it was a different voice.
And he told you what to do to get the children back?
Nala, yes. He did not mention Lucy.
You see, that's up to you.
What are you supposed to do?
Make an affidavit.
An affidavit? To say what?
Say that I arranged my own entry into England and no one else helped. That anything I told the police or my lawyers about paying out money for my family was untrue. That my niece was not kidnapped. But I sent her away myself to visit friends.
Well, an affidavit made under duress. You could repudiate it afterwards.
They said it would be worse if I went back on it.
Now you know. And believe me, he's going to sign it when and where they say. And if you or your protectors of society try to interfere...
I'll take it. It's probably for me anyway. I left this number. They picked up Eddie Bone yet?
No, he wasn't at home or in any of his usual places.
The travel agency?
It was shut when they got there. It's only a lock-up shop.
Anything you know it yet?
Yes, there's a bit. They've just run through. Five Oceans Travel Agency started 3 years ago by a man called Philip Cross. Nothing known against the agency. Cross himself was a solicitor. Still is, I suppose. No criminal record, but in the early 50s he was in trouble with clients' accounts. Prosecution was pending. Then a new partner joined the firm and it was all straightened out.
What firm?
Malin, Cross and Karaka.
Karaka? That's an Indian name, isn't it?
Yes, he's the new partner. But he can't be anything to do with this business.
Why not?
Well, an Indian wouldn't run a racket exploiting other Indians.
Oh, don't talk like Helen. I'm sorry. But Englishmen exploit Englishmen, don't they? And Frenchmen, Frenchmen, German, Germans. I mean, what's so special about Indians? Come in.
Oh, I've got the school teacher here, Miss Perry. She knows about the car. The superintendent thought you might like to see her.
I certainly would. Show her in.
Miss Perry.
Oh, come in, Miss Perry. I'm sorry to put you all through this again.
Well, if there's anything more I can do, I've told them about the car.
Was it expected?
Oh, yes.
Please sit down.
I took the telephone call to say Nala was being picked up by a hire car because of the bus strike.
Hmm? What bus strike?
Exactly.
I know, it was stupid of me, I suppose, but, well, there've been so many lately, I just assumed that they'd come out again during the day.
Yes, fair enough. Now, this car that picked up Nala Chowdhury, now, was there any mention of Lucy?
No, but they always went home together, and I saw them both get into the car and drive off. I waved to them.
Some of the other children said there was a bit of trouble at first about Lucy going. Then the driver changed his mind and took them both.
What? It was a mistake. They didn't mean to take Lucy at all. Now, could you recognize this driver if you saw him again?
No, I never really looked at him.
Well, the telephone call, who was that from?
Well, the man said he was Mr. Chowdhury, and of course I believed him at the time.
Why?
Why not?
Well, did you know his voice very well?
Not well, but it sounded like him.
You mean it wasn't an English voice? It was an Indian?
Yes.
Thank you, Miss Perry. You've been more than helpful. And this man Cross, have you got his private address?
No.
Then get it.
I didn't have to let you in, and I certainly don't have to answer your questions.
I'm not asking any questions. I can get all I want from Eddie Bone.
Picked him up.
Yes, and your friend Karaka is the next on the list.
I don't know what you're talking about. I refuse to say any more, and I'm asking you to leave.
Yes, you can ask.
You've no right to stay here without a warrant.
I have a warrant for your arrest. And I must warn you, it's my duty to warn you that you're not obliged to say anything, but anything you do... But then you're a lawyer. You know the spiel as well as I do, don't you?
What's the charge?
There are several. You can take your choice. The one I'm concerned with is obtaining money from illegal immigrants by false pretenses. The other one, oh, it's not my department. It's far more serious. Kidnapping.
No, but
I'm not saying you can get off the hook for that one. But if you tell me where they are and who's with them.
Would you like another fish finger, Nala? No, thanks. Carol? Yes, dear? When's my Uncle Lar coming? Oh, I expect he got held up, Nala, but if you go to bed after supper like a good girl, he'll be here when you wake up.
Can we wait till the end of this?
Carol, come here. What's all that?
Oh, look, I told him this was a surprise weekend in the country arranged by Uncle Lar. There's no point getting those kids scared before they have to be.
There he is. I knew he'd come before bedtime.
Oh,
Come on,
Good. Are you all right?
Yes, I am.
Now, I wonder who tipped you off. Or was it that you just worked it out for yourself?
Who are you?
When your stooges picked up Lucy, they spoiled things, didn't they? If they'd have just picked up Nala, Chowdhury would never even have reported her missing.
You
would
haven't answered my question yet. Who are you?
A police officer?
With a warrant?
2. Search and arrest.
In that case, I say no more.
That's your privilege. But off the record, just to satisfy my sergeant, if you had to get rich by squeezing somebody, why pick on your own people?
My people? What have they to do with me? These Kenya emigres are low-caste riffraff who thought they could live forever by exploiting the black man.
Have you made your peace with Helen yet?
Peace? More like an armistice. It's only a matter of time before I'm blamed for poor old Chowdhury.
You mean they'll send him back?
Well, if it had just been a simple case of one man being blackmailed, he might have got away with being anonymous, but it's going to be a big trial. Lots of witnesses, lots of charges. I mean, quite apart from the police and the bench, I mean, are the papers going to keep people's names out of it?
Do the immigration people have to act on it?
Well, what are they there for? Poor old Chowdhury and all the others, they'll have to go back and take their place in the queue for vouchers.
At least they'll be with their families again.
Even if they're starving? Ah, they didn't stand a chance, poor devils. You know, it wasn't just Karaka who had them over a barrel. It was the whole political setup.